Hello and welcome to the Afri Dominion Show. My name is Freeman Singirankabo, and thank you so very much for tuning into our program today. Those of you joining us live, especially if you're joining us live from our various platforms, be it television, radio station, or social media, welcome. And we are super excited for the opportunity to come and share with you today and to come and hang out with you guys, especially those of you who haven't been connecting or those of you who have been linking up with us lately. So it is quite a humbling experience to be here right now. And I just want to give you all a huge welcome. As you are accustomed to it, every time we join into the conversation, we come boldly, we come truthfully, and we come with no apologies. Why? Because the conversation that we have, it's a conversation that is very dear to us. The content, whatever questions, commentaries that we have, we mean what we say and we say what we mean. And with that in mind, guys, I want to go right ahead and give you guys a huge welcome and also let you know that every single conversation that we have here at our Free Dominion, we're having it in the name of truth, love, and trust, or in the spirit of truth, love, and trust. Why? Because we believe that when you're driven by those core values, you are as naked as anything can be, which means by all means feel free to benchmark us against those core values. Make sure that we actually subscribe to them. Anytime you find something that is contrary to that, by all means reach out to us and make sure that we own up to those core values. And we also would want to ensure that we also get to hold you accountable to those core values every time we're hanging out here together as brothers and sisters. Because it's one thing of saying we got these values, we respect these values, and then it's another thing to actually walk the walk instead of just talk the talk only. And in everything that we do every single day, we literally want to work on behalf of our brothers and sisters. We want to follow our core values. We want to literally wear them and make sure that we add value to every single one of you, lives, based on what we do, not just what we say only. And we want to make sure that you can actually testify to those facts and ensure that anything that we're not doing correctly, you can have the opportunity to help us rectify it. Because that's why we do what we do here. We want to make sure that we are accountable. We want to make sure that we do the things we have to do by ourselves. And we want to make sure that we are responsible with no exception. And it is for this reason that I want to go right ahead and invite each and every one of you. Please make sure that you take some time to leave us some feedbacks, because we want to make sure that if you like it, we get to know it. If you hate it, we also get to know and let us know, hey, this is what we believe that you can do to actually improve the program, to improve what you are saying, especially if you find any information that appears to be inaccurate. I would very much encourage you to just, shoot us some feedback. Let us know that, hey, this is completely inaccurate. This is the correction. As far as that content is concerned. We're together. So with that in mind, guys, I also want to let you know, brothers and sisters specifically, we've been given the opportunity to speak our mind. And this is something that we haven't had for so many years. When I say many years, we're literally talking about centuries. We used to have it, we lost it, and somehow we gain it back. Actually, it's not somehow. We fought for it anyway. And even right now, we are fighting for it every single day. So with that in mind, I want to ensure and I want to let you know, brothers and sisters, that this is our time. This is our time to speak our minds, to speak, to use our gifts, the gifts from within, and make sure that we actually maximize it in everything that we do. We don't just want to talk about it. We also want to do all the things that we can do as a testimony that we are not just talking the talk. All right. So with that in mind, guys, a huge welcome, a very huge welcome be sure to stop by by our website, www.afridominion.com. If you so choose to shoot us a feedback or any feedbacks, make sure that you shoot us an email at info@afridominion.com. When you get there too, we have phone number there, we have social media handlers. There are various ways you can reach us, you can reach out to us. My apologies, my voice is going away. And we would love to hear from you guys. And with that in mind, guys, I also want to take it a point to give you guys a huge welcome, especially those of you who are not familiar with how we roll here at Afri Dominion. First and foremost, what is Afri Dominion and what is Afri Dominion Show? I want to make sure that I just drop it down to you all who have no idea what this is. Why? Because I want to make sure that if this isn't for you, just get out here already. Do not waste a single moment, because we don't want to waste nobody's time, and we also do not want our time to be wasted. So Afri Dominion, it's an idea that inspires, that encourages, that it inspires, it advocates, it encourages, it even goes to the extent of helping you, brothers and sisters, take the full dominion of Africa, one nation at a time, by every single one of you kings and queens, brothers and sisters, African descendants, all in the interest of Africa and African people first and foremost, and then the rest of the world afterwards. So the show, the Afri Dominion Show, it's that same mouthpiece of the idea. We make sure that the program inspires. The programs that we have here have to inspire. They have to advocate. They also have to encourage you to become a better version of yourself. But we go to that extent of also getting down dirty to it and be practical with it. And we make sure that it is you, brothers and sisters, in the driving seat. You get to do all that you do. Not only you become proud of it, but you also grow as you're doing it. All in the interest of our brothers and sisters, first and foremost, and we do not waver when it comes to that. Why do you guys see me stressing on that point? Because oftentimes they've been wondering, for the fewer months we've been broadcasting, I've had so many questions where everybody asks you, or they were asking me specifically, Freeman, are you guys not discriminating? And I was like, no, we're not discriminating. Do you ever see the United States discriminate when it says that my interest first? Do you call the UK as a discriminatory country when you see them saying my citizens first? And so is France, and so is UK, and so is Russia, China, all these big boys. Heck, I would dare that every single one of the nations worldwide, they go for the interests of its own citizens first and foremost. So don't be shocked when you see that here specifically, we also go for the very specific interest of our own people, or what we consider our own people, brothers and sisters, Africans to be specific, and African descendant. So this conversation, this program that we have here, it is dedicated to our brothers and sisters worldwide, those inside of Africa and outside of Africa. So anything that we do here, it is literally for our brothers and sisters. And with that in mind, welcome guys. As I have told you a while back, for those of you who aren't familiar, check out different themes that we have. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, we have different themes. They correspond to those 5 days, and they help us stay in check of what we want to talk to you about. And most of you who aren't familiar, we broadcast 12 to 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you want to catch us live, that's when you're going to catch us live. So there's so much to be said. I would hope that you come and join us live so you can get to find out about it. All right. On Wednesdays, what do? We talk about the testimony. We talk about our own testimony. Our testimony in the history, our own history in the making. And today in particular, I want to jump right in it. Our topic for today, we want to talk about why is Africa receiving monetary loans in papers instead of gold. Is gold standard no longer respected? So that's what I want to talk to you guys about. And Let me put it out there up front. I'm not an economist. So don't think too much into the title. There is always a method to the madness when we do what we do here. But bottom line, why is it that you prefer a piece of paper as a monetary exchange as opposed to the gold standard? And for those of you who aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, guys, I want to take you back in the 70s, especially if you guys are not familiar with it. I would absolutely expect a lot of you youngies, my younger brothers and sisters, you may not be aware of this, but back in the 70s, the United States, to be specific, stopped using the gold standard as a means of keeping keeping it honest, basically, when it comes to monetary exchange. There are various reasons as to why they say that they no longer wanted to use the gold standard. But some of what I rate a few of the reasons, and I've written down a few, and I want you guys to hear some of them. One of the reasons that I read it was that the U.S. I was told that the United States went off the gold standard to curb inflation and to prevent foreign nations from overburdening the system by redeeming the dollar for gold. That's one of the reasons, and I found that to be very interesting. Another reason that I wrote down, the U.S. stopped using the gold standard due to its propensity for volatility, as well as the constraint it imposed on government, seriously. And then last but not the least, another guy here was like, they just didn't have enough gold. They just didn't have enough gold to keep on promising, a gold standard. And today, why am I actually talking about this whole gold standard? What does it have to do with us, brothers and sisters? Guys, today, Africa is one of the wealthiest nations. Africa is borrowing piece of paper that you can burn, and they vanish as a means of exchange. They're borrowing dollars, euros. They're borrowing what do you call Chinese money? They're borrowing euros, pounds, all kinds of money by the big five. The big five. Every time I mention the big five, it's the United States, it's the United Kingdom. There is Russia. There is China, and sometimes France comes along with that too, but not always. So why is it that you rather borrow a piece of papers instead of gold? And since 1971, the U.S. no longer subscribes to the gold standard. Many reasons have been given, many reasons. However, one of the things that is very, very easy, the United States has some of the most giant printers that you can ever find. It is easy to print money than to go and dig gold. Think about it, guys. Right now, the U.S. debt, it's at least 20-some trillions, right? How much gold exactly can you equate to 20 trillion? The United States is not rich, guys. Most of you think that the U.S. is rich, but U.S. is not rich by the standard that it wants you to believe. Why am I mentioning this? Most of the young people do not care looking into this in any case. However, every year in the United States, the debt ceiling it's increased, which means the United States does not know how to spend within its means, but you are expected to spend within your means. The United States lives on credit. which is why they want all of you to learn how to live on credit. Africans have just been introduced to credit. Most families, they still believe in cash money. Some sort of gold standard happening. But they're doing away with it. Because they give you a plastic and you can swap that plastic so quick. Now what's wrong with this picture? Guys, if you're the gold yourself, but then I come in and be like, you know what, never mind your gold. I gave you a piece of paper. And by the way, I'm the only one authorized to print papers that we're going to use. Why is it okay for you to use $1 from the United States, but the African continent can come out with its own monetary exchange? Especially that most of these guys no longer want to use gold. Because there's so much gold on this world that you just won't be able to print gold from nowhere. If everybody was still following the gold standard, what you call wealth would not be wealth today. Because the Federal Reserve can print as much money without any of you stopping it. And then they can hit you out with all kinds of technical lingo and you get lost, which is the very best that everybody can do in their own field. So why not keep it simple? There's a saying that keep it simple, stupid. If you're gold, stick with your gold. You Africans, you have not only wealth, you have the capacity. Why is it that you cannot be self-confident in who you are? And literally, actually, this is what I want to talk about. You are gold, but you are trading yourself as a piece of paper. You'd rather be traded in a piece of paper that can be burned, and you leave alone your own gold. You Africans, you are truly, truly gold yourselves. However, you have been tricked into using piece of paper that just been printed with some very nice numbers on them, and you think that that's the way to go. If another nation is controlling that piece of paper that you spend as a monetary means, and you are at the mercy of the value that they are going to give you, exactly who has the right to give you a value? There is on one side self-value, self-worth, and then somebody's value, giving you the value. Reminding you, this alternative, someone who gives you the value, they look at you, they basically look at you like they're looking under your shoe. You are disrespected, in another word. You do not matter. You have little to no worth in value. So how will you rise to the value of the gold standard that you already are if they don't think you are worth anything? I want to give you a perfect example. Those of you, brothers and sisters, who have doctorate degrees, masters, bachelors, and whatever it is you have studied, you come to the States, all of it is zero. All of it is zero. And you wonder, how much exactly are you valued? When you step outside of your homeland and you come to these nations, Will they treat you gold the same way as well? Do you know that today most of us have no idea the value of gold? Because they have worked so hard to make sure that none of you goes back to this whole gold standard. They give us so much money, you can feel it in your pocket and you're like, kumbaya. Then they cannot honor your old money. There's only certain money that is honored. And I'm like, okay, something is wrong with this picture. You got the gold, it's not respected. You got the natural resources, you are not respected. They give you a piece of paper, they want you to respect it. And they also want to use that piece of paper to not only get you gold, get all your natural resources, and also get your human resources on board as well. Guys, are we mental? Are we mental? When do you realize that your gold standard, nothing else can match it on this planet, especially the so-called piece of paper that has been turned into money? Until African people set up their own monetary exchange, poverty will always be poverty. You know how much money a lot of these nations are lending to you all, and they make sure that the interest rate that they put on you loans, you would never be able to repay. This is what they call modern slavery, guys. Economic slavery. You're given a loan and they ensure that the interest rate, it is so high. By the time you're done paying it, you'll be a slave. And guess what? A lot of these leaders, they're taking so many loans. Not for the people, for themselves. And then they leave the tab to the people. And I get to ask you, why is it that you're not getting loans in gold, which is what they were afraid of to begin with? If they're giving you money, take the money in gold. Are you bold enough to make those kind of requests? Now, if we are not thinking like that, do you see what's going to happen when it's time to cash out? They're going to own you because of irresponsibility. They already own so much of our homeland. And you wonder how that happened. So, I want to flip that script because I'm interested in you as a gold. Why is it that you cannot polish yourself and put yourself on the market? Guys, we have so many gifts within ourselves. We are better than gold, guys. However, we need to be validated by the same person who thinks that you are nothing. Can you imagine how absurd that is? You're constantly looking for validation from the slave master. Do you really think that you are going to be validated in a way that you should be validated by the same slave master who's been enslaving you for 600 plus years? Why am I mentioning this? This is not meant to be hateful speech or anything like that. It is meant for you to actually think critical. Think and think and think. You already are the most expensive gold that there can be. However, because you have been taught that you can amount to nothing, you don't look at yourself as gold. No wonder the continent is being raped every single day, because you think of nothing to your homeland, but it has everything that they're looking for. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. Who am I mentioning or am I referring to? Every single nation that is in Africa today, including this nation that I'm in, the United States, including Canada, including the United Kingdom, France, Russia, China, Australians, just to name the big boys. They're there because up to this very day, what's in Africa, it still is in Africa. Our gold is still there. All those resources are still there. And we still have plenty. So they want to make sure that they utilize all your resources before they touch what they've got on their own sleeves. But be assured, guys. Rest assured. Doesn't matter where you move the resources to. The other day I was telling you that energy, it's such an amazing thing, guys. For you to maximize the potential of your resources, of your gold, you've got to be properly positioned. And today, there is a need, there is a necessity for you to be in the right position, for you to literally shine better than the gold. However, if you are out of position, nobody would even look at you. It's like you walking over gold because it has a little bit of soil over it. And nobody cares so much about a regular soil. There's no value to it for most of us. So a gold hidden under a regular soil, it's meaningless. So you gotta be properly positioned, guys. And this is our season to be properly positioned, because we have so much opportunities. We have so many situations that we need to rectify. But it requires that we come in the right direction, guys, that we come in the right position. Why am I bothering going through all of this, and why did I start with money? The exchange, the form of exchange that's being used in Africa has been weakening Africa for so many years. You cannot dig gold as fast as you print money. And there's no oversight, by the way. Today they can come and buy your whole nation from money that's just being printed an hour ago. And then you give it all up. Piece of paper. And by the way, they get to control how you spend that money also. And I am suggesting today that you young people who are supposed to be taking over, taking back the dominion of Africa, you need to awaken your gold standard. If the United States can show 20 trillion in gold, if the Chinese can show 10 to 20 trillion in gold, then all is well. But if you have I was gonna use an insult, let me not use that. But if you're not wise enough and you go to any one of these banks for a loan, they give you printed money with such a high interest rate on it. and you still take it. You are literally killing our people. If you cannot get the same exchange in gold, what the hell are you thinking? They don't have that much gold, but they can print unlimited. Piece of paper called dollars, called euro, called pounds. They can print unlimited of it. And somehow you have been taught that that's good money. That is not good money, guys. If they can print money like that, why can't you do the same thing? I just don't understand you, brothers and sisters. Why do you have to go borrow money? Money that's been printed, that just been printed. When you have something that is far more valuable in your own backyard, but you are too lazy to dig it and to use for monetary exchange, for trade. The days ahead, monetary exchange is going to come to an end, guys. As you've already have seen, digital exchange is becoming a thing. But even with that, we're going to have to go back old school at some point. Because if you're really going to have to unplug from slavery systems, you're going to have to set up your own monetary exchange platforms. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it, but Asia is starting its own monetary exchange. Same way Europe has euro, and then the United States has dollars. And you wonder why is it that they don't want to use each other's money? Control. Africa, the most wealthiest continent on planet Earth, it still is at the mercy of the United States, of the United Kingdom, of France, of Russia, of China, etc. What's wrong with this picture, guys? How do you explain that you are the most wealthiest continent, yet you are a beggar? You are a beggar. When you have everything and anything. So what's the reason behind that? Is it laziness? Is it ignorance? Or is it just that we don't want to go there like that? Or it has a whole lot to do with slavery mentality. Guys, we are under attack. We've been under attack mentally for many years. But today, it's far more impactful than ever it has been. Today, you are being bombarded mentally so that you do not even wake up. If you have any decent project that you want to work on, it is going to require some thinking. And there is no thinking that you are going to do if you are not stable, if you do not have some time to actually think. Have some time and think through how you want to do your project, how you want to work it out. And the last time we checked, they tell you, let us do the thinking. You can just execute. Leave the thinking to big boys. Just, we let you know when you come in and then you do the heavy lifting. After all, you are the muscle man. You are not the brain. You are the muscle man. Don't be stigmatized, brothers and sisters. Not only you can think, but you can also execute simultaneously, guys. And the season that we are living in requires that not only you think, but also you execute. And you verify your own work. You do not need to be validated by the same slave master who have enslaved you for 600 plus years. And I'm saying this with no animosity whatsoever. But I'm bold about it. For someone who doesn't wish anything good for you, why do you need to be validated by them for you to become what you already are? Imagine a bird going for a dog. Can I fly? Could you let me fly? The bird flies regardless whether the dog approves it or not. Birds need no validation from any other animals on planet Earth. They have already verified and validated by the maker, by the creator. I would love for you to raise your standard just a little bit above the bird standards, okay? Birds needs no validation from anybody. Birds need no validation from anybody. It's not just birds. All animals, they require no validation from any of you to do what they do. Let's take, for instance, a fish. The fish doesn't come to you and beg you for a certificate to swim, to do what it wants to do. It doesn't require validation whatsoever. It just swims if it feels like swimming. Whether you like it or not, whether you get mad or not, that's on you. So why is it that you require validation from another person to do that which is already naturally inside of you? That is the gold standard that I'm referring to, guys. That's the gold standard from within you that you should never compromise on. That is the gold standard within you should never abandon in exchange for a piece of paper that can be printed as much as it can be printed out. But you are the original. You cannot be duplicated. Ever, 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 ever. So why is it that you're giving up your own self-worth and self-value for a piece of paper that can be duplicated trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions times? What am I saying, brothers and sisters? For us to take back the full dominion of Africa, you gotta raise your own gold standard. You gotta self-validate. And you have to testify as to what type of gold you are. Meaning, the same way of fruit, when it's ready, we test it and we can tell whether it's good or bad. Even with you, let your actions speak for you. You will not need any validation from the so-called first world nation or second world nations. There's so much work that we have to do. So much work that we have to do. We're going to have to do it without feeling any wrath from anybody, guys. We're going to have to do it and self-validate ourselves. Failure to do that yourselves, it's going to be fatal. Because the slave master who's been checking you for the past 600 plus years isn't going to give you any validation. that's going to be favorably on your direction. Which is where I come in and I ask you, why do you require validation anyway? Do you ever see the United States coming in and ask you, what do you think about us creating this big bomb? What do you think about us creating this and that and that and that? They don't come for you or request any validation from you. They just do what they do. UK never comes for you and ask for validation. Nor does France. Nor Germany, nor China, nor Russia, nor Australia. Why do you feel the need to be validated? That brings me to the next point of you brothers and sisters who have this disease of coming into these nations and kneeling in front of them and beg for help to go and take over your nations. What is wrong with you guys? The so-called politicians. It's like you're launching a campaign. First thing you come for permission seeking in the United States. You go to the United Kingdom, you go to Canada, you go to France, you go to Russia, you go to China. And I'm like, okay, so do you have cousins in China? Do you have some best buddies? Do you have a family member there that you have to go there for validation? Why is it that you have to go seek permission to a foreigner for you to come and bring your own house in order? Why do you have to take your gold standard outside of your own home to be validated as a true gold before you can come right back in and use it? That's the disease that we have today, guys. And that is the disease that I wish we can burn out of our system. As long as you can still see yourself as inferior to any one of these other nations, as long as you can still see yourself as inferior, you're going to come and kneel down to all these nations. And in turn, you're going to be selling out your own people. And this is where I come in and tell all of you brothers and sisters, if any of your brothers and sisters claim to be seeking the very best interest of the people, and they take the first trip out to go and beg for strength, and beg for a pot of porridge, and beg for permission to become a leader, chop him off from the list of those leaders want to be. It's like a slave going to the slave master. Yes, master. Can I please become the chief master on the plantation? Hell no. Guys, in 2022, get away from the plantation mentality. Unplug from the plantation. That plantation, it's your real estate. It doesn't belong to the slave master anymore. They definitely borrowed it by force for 600 plus years. Today is up to you to manage it the way you're supposed to have been managing it before you were enslaved. If you look at it as a plantation, as a slave plantation, it's going to be just that. But if you look your viewpoint, your outlook, it'll be whatever it is you want it to be. So going back to that question, why is Africa receiving monetary loans in papers instead of gold? Why is that? That is because they are afraid of you. That the gold standard that you have, that you are, they can never outmatch you, guys. They can never outmatch you. And by the way, if you stick to your gold, there won't be any 20 trillion that easy. The so-called powerful nations are going to struggle right away because they just don't have the means to keep up the exchange in monetary when they don't have the same liquid to back it up. But you do. But you do not realize that you can outmatch everything that's being done. So I am asking you guys to wisen up, to wake up. Because this season requires that we wake up. And it also requires that we get to do the things we've never done before. If we have to go completely cold turkey, if you have to unplug completely, you've got to go solo, guys. And you have to do for self. I wonder, you guys just, I want to humor you for a minute. What would happen if the entire continent of Africa, locked down its borders from all foreigners for 1 month? For just 1 month, everything was on a lockdown. What would happen? And when I say on lockdown, like truly on lockdown. Do you know how many of these nations will come on their knees? Plenty of them. However, because they don't even want you to think like that. Because they see you gold, but they want to make sure, hey, this is just dirt. You're not that strong, okay? Just walk with us here. We got you. You are led to believe that the little help that's being given to you, it is so big, it is so benevolent, but it isn't. That's that slavery mindset that you gotta break, guys. There's nothing that's being done for you that you cannot do for self. I repeat, there's nothing that any of these nations is doing for you right now that you cannot do for self. And my question becomes, why is it that you're not doing it all by yourselves? Why do you need to borrow billions of dollars for the things you can do for self? Why is it? That's the mentality of slavery that's still deeply rooted inside of us. And it is for this reason I would love for you to recognize your gold and your gold standard. Acknowledge your gold and your gold standard as a people. You are truly, truly valuable. Even though you've been taught that you are no good to nothing, you cannot amount to anything in life. It is not true. If you are good for nothing, why is it that they are constantly around you? If you are truly good to nothing. I want you guys to start wondering these questions. For a continent that is absolutely no good, why is it so loved that they cannot get away from it? Guys, start wondering and realize that you have been lied to for so long. And you are also discouraged from thinking, from using your own mental faculties to add 1 plus 1 yourselves instead of you being taught what it is. 1 plus 1. So, I'm urging you, brothers and sisters, to literally rethink everything. We must take over the entire Africa. We must take it back. We must take back the dominion of Africa. For those of you who do not understand what that means, it means we must take the management of the resources of the entire Africa by ourselves. We must be responsible, and we also must be accountable. Never mind that you don't have those degrees, by the way. I assured you. A bird never had any degrees from any one of these Ivy Leagues to fly. It flies every day just fine. A fish never went for any of the university courses to learn how to swim. It swims just fine. And it needs zero validation from any of those universities. Why are you so stuck in using the piece of paper when they cannot recognize your piece of paper? Think about this, guys. Why are you stuck? You are so stuck in using their piece of paper that yours you discard. I'd say shame on you. Shame on you. The gifts within you needs nobody's validation. Not one single person on planet Earth is validation. And this is where it gets tricky, because you have been taught that anytime you want to do this and that, you gotta seek a license, you gotta seek permission here and permission there. Do you know that that's a form of control, guys? You hear patent here, you hear all kinds of licenses here. Are you crazy? You want to go plant something and you require a license to plant. But now things got crazy in Africa, specifically in Rwanda. I got to tell you guys. Do you know that today, Rwanda would rather import food, and they get an average person to literally uproot all your plants in your field for things like grass for cows. They will cut all your banana plantains, all of it, cutting it down for a coffee plantation. And you dare trying to plant some beans in your backyard. They require that you got to put there something explicitly given by the government. Is there slavery that is more appealing than that? Now, this is Rwanda. This is not the United States. This is not UK. It is not any one of these slave masters who used to be. Now it is ourselves now. Some of us have become little slave masters among ourselves. That we are enslaving our own people the same way we have been trained. So you cannot paint it on the original slave masters. It is on us today. So at what point do you flip the script? If a slave master looks like you, if it's your brother, your mother, your sister, your loved one, and they're disrupting your livelihood, and they're keeping you from living, are you even going to question what to do at that point? Vote for your own gold standard instead of whatever it is that they want you to use. As long as you do not respect your own gold standard, as long as you do not respect your own gifts, as long as you do not respect your own value, self-worth, you are forever going to be a slave. And they're counting on that, guys. They're counting on you lacking your self-esteem. They're counting on you requesting for validation. They're counting on you to beg for their opinion. And they certainly count on you to ask for some money. Because they already have taught you that your money is worthless, your gold is worthless, your ideas are worthless, your gifts are worthless unless they validate you. So ladies and gentlemen, what am I saying? Unless you respect yourself, they are not going to respect you. Unless you respect yourself, you are not going to be respected by anybody. If you do not have self-worth and self-value, you are certainly not going to value your own gold. You are certainly not going to value your territory, your real estate, for all the riches that it's holding and weighing on you to manage it accordingly. So never mind if you're poor today. It's a choice to be poor, guys. It is a choice to be poor. Because you're looking for richness or for riches in a location you have no business seeking for riches from. You're ignoring your own riches. You're going for the riches that they told you. It's the dope. And you're actually taking it. They're printing hot paper, hot money. They're giving to you, smells good, and they're telling you, forget this gold. This is so arcade. We now use dollar tender, this piece of paper. And by the way, we're the only one authorized to use this piece of paper. We can print as much. We can even own you using this piece of paper. And you start going through the whole begging motion. Unplug, guys, from slavery mindset. Unplug. For us to take over Africa, for us to take it back, for us to take back the dominion of Africa, you're going to have to do your own self-brainwash. And I kid you not, you're going to have to you're literally going to have to wash off the slavery mindset, the slavery mentality. You're going to have to go raw or cold turkey, whatever it is you got to do, you need to do it. Failure to do that will simply keep you doing the same thing, expecting different result, and that is what they call insanity. So do not do the same thing expecting for different result. Guys, there's no need to sugarcoat the world we're living in today. It's a crazy world. It's a world ruled by slave masters. And you are a slave person in this world today, in 2022. You've got a decision to make as to whether you want to stick around in a slavery manufactured world, or if you unplug and rejoin your own motherland with all the riches that you can actually measure, you're going to have to work. So long as you're willing to work, you are not going to have a lack in anything and everything. And the question is, are you willing to work your behind off? Are you willing to work hard? Are you willing to bring about your gifts? Can you raise those fruits so they can benefit all of us? Or you're still gonna say, no, I just want me that smelly, nice, hot piece of paper called money. We got so much to answer for, guys. So very much to answer for. And I will really hope that each and every one of you guys take some time to think very critically. Because the era we are in today, it's crazy. And it takes no prisoner. Any wrong move, it'll put you under, guys. If you're lucky, you die easy. Some of us are dying prematurely. Some of us are dying prematurely. I love what the Queen says here. Africa already has gold, but they have managed to make them Africans believe that papers is more worth than gold. Yes, precisely. A wake up for Africa is needed. There is hope. Look at Russia. They banned Russian banks, but it didn't affect Russian economy. Russia is sustaining economy using gold exchange from reserves. Touché. So guys, why are we having this conversation? I just want to make sure that none of you, that we finish the broadcast without you knowing it. It is not for the sake of just making noise. We are at war. However you see it, those of you can look at it as economic warfare, social warfare, political warfare. But for me, it's actually death, life. It's life we're fighting for right now. Live a dignified life for the duration that you're supposed to be here, without having to beg any of these nations for permission to live a decent life. Why would someone in the countryside, somewhere in Rwanda, have to beg to just have a small garden for their tomatoes, for some beans, for some corn, for some vegetables? What's wrong with that picture? That is a reality today in 2022. The funny thing is, in the United States, most of you don't know, if you go to the projects, you will not find people with gardens, little small garden, just like in Rwanda, in the middle of nowhere. Two different black people from two different regions responding the same. Do you see something wrong with that picture? Guys, we gotta wake up. The system is there to milk you. The system is there to keep you in a very specific position. The kind of position where you cannot be self-producer. You cannot produce for yourself. The kind of position where you have to simply work and work and work and work on their own behalf. I am saying to you, you need to become a producer of your own needs and want. If you need food, produce it yourself. If you need a car, produce it yourself. If you need a jet, produce it yourself. Whatever you need to be your own self-provider. It is already within you. Why won't you now wake it up? That's why I am telling you, look at these animals. They truly live free. The kind of freedom that you and I never knew. But we must get back to. Have you ever seen a bird that requires a visa to travel from one country to the next? Every winter, birds in Canada, they migrate to the United States. They keep on going even further, all the way down south, right where with the heat, it's very optimal. They don't get bothered by the immigration, that they haven't applied for visa, that they wait on visa. As long as the internal clock says, hey, it's time to go, it's time to go. They respect no immigration laws whatsoever. None whatsoever. Only human beings, up to this very day, we claim to have become so advanced. But in reality, we are decaying, guys. We've been decaying. So we gotta get back to where we're supposed to be. Your gifts have to be shared. The same way a fruit on a tree, when it's ready, it's shared. Those who want to have some of it, they do. A tree never says, excuse me, you can't have this. Whoever wants that fruit, they get to have some. And depending on how juicy that fruit is, you don't have to be begged to go back to that tree. You can find a tree that has best fruits by how many people go back to it. The tree never does any advertisement. It never begs you. But you find yourself right back at it. So what is it about you that can make me come back to you, guys? What is it about you that can cause the rest of the population to come in and feed from your fruit? If you have nothing that anybody can come for, please take some time. Take some time and find out what your fruit is. Go get busy. Nourish your fruit. Nourish your fruit. Fertilize your fruit. Give it some time to grow. And by the time it's ready, all of us, you won't have to beg us. We'll bring ourselves. That is your gold, guys. That is the kind of gold that I'm referring to today. Don't be too quick to go and just get this printed piece of paper. You already have a very valuable gold from within you. Dig it out of you. Dig it out of you. It can never lose value. You can never lose value. If you take some time and polish yourselves. And the season we're living in today requires that you do. But there is a choice whether you will or will ignore it. And at the end of the day, the decision is yours. But as for me and my people, we gotta do what we gotta do. We are going to fight hard for our fruits. We are going to nourish our fruit. We are going to fertilize our fruit. We are going to water it. We are going to take care of it, whatever it takes, until it's ready. I do not need to go and import a fruit when I already have fruit myself. That is absurd. Why go spend money overseas when you already have what you need at the house? Wake up, guys. Wake up. You do not need all these billions of dollars. This is a fictitious monetary piece of paper. You can burn it and it's no longer there. But the true gold that you have, you cannot burn it and it vanishes. It's impossible. And I submit to you, if you go back to your gold, take some time and dig your own gold. Polish it. You won't have to beg anybody. They will come for you. And you can set the standard as you go. The season we're living in requires that we assume the position, guys. And you do not have forever to do that, by the way. Every single one of us, we are on a timer. However we deal with it, however we do it, will determine what we become tomorrow. So it is my humble request that every single one of you get busy digging your own gold. Get busy polishing your own gold. Because ain't nobody is going to do it for you. Certainly not the slave master, who would rather you work with his own piece of paper that he just printed out. Check your own self-worth. Validate yourself, guys. You don't need no validation from slave masters. You do not need any validation from slave masters. Again, you can self-validate. And I hope that we can work as hard as we can to take back the full dominion of our homeland. We can serve the entire planet once we take the proper position that we must take. Out of position, it becomes a disaster. Fruitless. In position, meaning in the right position, you will have an overflow. Guarantee. The question is, are you willing to go to assume the right position? Are you willing to work a little harder for that which is rightfully yours as an inheritance? And can you work for it until it's matured and serve it all around? That's what I want to leave you up with. And welcome you feedback, as always, right before we go. Shoot us some feedback with that. I know we've been giving you guys some really chilly words, some chilly conversations lately, but we don't have time to play, guys. It's now or never. This is not for children, guys. This is for you. Growing up, you gotta have teeth to eat this. This is not milk. If you can't handle it, I'm sorry. We got no baby formula right now. But we still love you guys. So until next time, guys, leave us some feedback at info@afridominion.com. And come to the website too, www.afridominion.com, and check out some of the other things that we have there. Reach out to us directly. You will see, or you will have our phone numbers and our social media handlers. And besides that, guys, my humble request is that you Get serious, guys. Get serious, because what we got going on right now, it's something strong and something that is that requires you to be serious, and it is on behalf of all our brothers and sisters. All our brothers and sisters, this is ours. This is ours, and nobody else is gonna do it for us. So with that in mind, guys, thank you so very much. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to serve, and I want to wish you guys a beautiful day today. And those of you who would love to be a part of the conversation next time, I noticed that you have asked. We welcome each and every one of you to come join in the conversation. Zoom link is always open every single day, and please, by all means, come through next time. With that in mind, I'm Freeman Singirankabo here at Free Dominion. Until next time, so long for now.